Hey there, you're listening to In Their Own Words. This is the new single, Honestly, by Paris Blue from Hastings. Make sure to go and listen to it. I sat down with them at the end of last year to talk about their progress as a group, along with the success of their new music, specifically their last single, Remedy, which came out in November. Stay tuned to hear that later in the episode. Enjoy. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Brilliant. Cool, we're good.
Could you introduce yourselves and what you do in the band?
Hi, I'm Joe. I play guitar and electronics.
I'm Harry and I do drums and percussion.
I'm Riley and I play the bass guitar.
I'm Leo. I sing and also play guitar.
I first saw you play live back in April when you were supported by the Veltmans and Flipped Up Head. Could you tell me a bit about how you choose support acts?
That's a good question. I think that show, for example, is kind of a good example of that. So we have a direction. Well, at that moment, we were like, okay, this is the direction we want to go in. The supports almost reflect that. I think that often happens. So with the Veltmans, it's a bit lighter. It's a bit indie. It's cool. It's good fun. It's great, good fun music. And then you've got Flip Top, who's fucking, they're just so crisp, which Harry is also in that band. And it's so, it's just amazing music.
Oh, thanks, Leo.
Those two together is quite an interesting mix, and I think that's kind of a way of looking at it.
Yeah.
That's not always the case. That's a particular example. I'm just thinking about that one in particular. But.
Yeah. It's it's interesting, like with like the Veltmans, I think they're like, good friends of ours as well. And, we really appreciate them as musicians, and they're, when we've supported them, they are just so good, and like the audience are always so into it, and so having them support us, for example, is really good because you get this like really explosive crowd that come to see them, and and they enjoy our stuff, and it's just really, it's harmonious, I guess, but I guess it's kind of just entirely dependent on like where we're heading, and definitely our music is a lot more electronic and kind of experimental than it was.
Yeah, I can hear that in the new song. So specifically the Veltmans, then you did a support for them in October. Under, was it Sketchy Promotions?
Yeah.
Can you tell me a bit about Sketchy Promotions?
Well, it's my sort of little project that I've started. It's got funding behind by the Delawares. It's great to promote its program. But it's been an opportunity for me to start thinking about that side of things, which is really nice. I think in the local area, promoters are a really rare thing. In Hastings, you don't really get promoters, and it's a real sad sort of thing. It feels like there's no space, but there is definitely a gap for it, and I think that's something that should happen. Like, and Eastbourne being one of those places, I want to put on more gigs in Hastings and stuff. We'll see how that goes in the future, but I'm pretty excited for that. But yeah, that show in particular, it was really good. What was great, it was Harry's TikTok. It went viral.
Oh yeah, I saw. Yeah, Lorraine Bowen.
I don't know how that happened. Crazy.
They just released a song, I think 2 days ago or something, with
the punked up version of the Crumble song.
Exactly.
Really good.
Brilliant.
So who organised that?
That was all them. That was nothing to do with me. They were just like, okay, this is gonna happen. I was like, great, cool, fucking go for it.
So recently, you guys put on your Instagram, there was a caption that said something about putting your music releasing hats back on. Can you tell me what you meant by that?
Yeah, I think basically we haven't released anything. Well, we hadn't for a very long time, and I think it was about time. And we had to sort of figure some stuff out, I think, writing-wise. We've always been quite creative. I think with the modern horror, we were like, okay, there's a lot of things, but we didn't have the tools to go like, oh my god, there's everything. I think by the time we got to Pinocchio, it was like, oh my god, we can do there's so much we can do. And it was like, okay, let's do this. And then you're like, oh wait, holy, like this is just, you're losing the idea of what's happening.
It was just too much.
So then I think it's been a process of going like, okay, there's a lot of ideas here, but let's cherry pick. Let's go like, we like this, this all fits together nicely. I think you have to have one head about it when you're writing a particular song. If you go too out there, then it's sort of, you lose the idea of that and you kind of lose the soul of that particular idea. So it's really important to be creative, but within a compressed time zone, I think.
Yeah, so you keep consistent and keep with the themes that you wanted to explore initially.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for us, it's like we had to learn that, and now we have. It's like, okay, what's keeping us in line?
In check, yeah.
Yeah, there's particular, like, for example, something for us that's been really important, and I think about a lot, is like chord progressions. So because we have a lot of ideas, it's actually really good for us to not add too many chord progressions. It's almost like, okay, here's two maximum. Two maximum, we're kind of good, other than, little bits here and there. Keeping that as a framework's really good, because then when you have that as a grounding force, you can do all this other stuff and you can kind of get away with it. And and then same with rhythmical elements. It's like there's a couple things we've gone like, okay, that's the idea for this song, creative within that sort of world.
Your recent single, Remedy, came out November 17th. Could you tell me a bit about the inspiration behind that?
It started from a demo I sort of did. It's such a standard way of our writing, but like, there's an Aphex Twin song, and I will try. It starts with BBYD, and don't ask me the letters afterwards. It's just one of those ones where it's just random letters.
Yeah, on drug use or something.
Yeah. So it started with that, added some guitars to it, and then Leo, you sort of just riff that like chorus vocal melody over the top.
Give me every remedy to fix me, feed me, fix me, feed me. Call me of all sympathy and let me save me, let me save me.
I think the first version from memory was it gave a lot of Interpol vibes. Like it was a bit blockier, and then we wanted to take it in that direction of sort of this Talking Headsy thing, where it was more like blippy bloppy.
Yeah.
We really wanted a blippy bloppy song. I remember that being a thing.
Everyone needs a blippy bloppy song.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was part of it. I remember Born in Luton was a song we were like, okay, that's sick.
Yeah.
They've used guitars in a really rhythmical sense. Okay, let's think about that. That's kind of how that started, and then it kind of developed from there.
For like the drums, I really wanted to kind of put in a bit of the, like, George Daniel from the 1975, like, has always done these really sort of, I guess, minimal but like tight and really just well thought out drum parts. I mean, of course, he also produces for that band, but his drumming is just so tight, and it's got this really just slick kind of 80s thing, and I wanted to kind of incorporate that with that track. And I think also the drum intro, like where it's like lo-fi, is really cool on a separate note, that we kind of it was born out of Joe's like SP404, so that was really fun. And Joe's like really embracing the sampling now, and it's really cool.
Very, very cool, especially like with what you were going about how it being really tight. Like the whole rhythm section, like my bass included, is just so tight, and we've never really done anything like that specifically before, but it makes it so much easier or just like nicer to incorporate the sort of blippy bloppy stuff, because it gives so much room for other stuff to go on when it's so tight with the rhythm.
Yeah, definitely.
How long ago did you write that song?
I remember because you showed me that song, and it was when we went to see Flip Top support Honeyglaze, so it was the day after that, whenever that was. When was that? Like, was that January or was that like November or October?
I want to say definitely the beginning of this year.
We played it at the Kiki Beachy show.
Did we?
We did. It was the second song, and I remember it being like, oh, that's cool, that's interesting. I remember the audience interaction being like that.
With the working title, Fix Me, Feed Me.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that was, yeah.
Oh, it's probably called like BBYD at that point or something.
Well, BBYD, and then the Fix Me Feed Me was the name for them.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was so, when we went through that writing session for those couple of months, when we were like, okay, the goal right now is this Kiki Beach show is going to go well. All right, that's the goal. That was one of the tracks that came from that. I remember that being the case. Yeah, that was, I bet the first thing was in like September, October.
Long time coming then.
Yeah, everything takes forever.
Is that just a sort of perfectionism? You've got this drive
Yeah,
to
I
make
think we spend like Remedy hours and hours and hours and hours, and our next single, honestly, hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And it's not necessarily always the best thing, but I think it means it's polished and it's a nice listen. I can definitely say that.
It takes so long because we want to enjoy listening to it. Like if we're constantly analysing our own music and thinking, oh, you know, there's something not quite right with this, you're not going to enjoy listening to it because for the whole time you're listening to it, you're not thinking of the positives that are going along with it.
Yeah, I can see that.
We're constantly on the lookout for those little things that we're not quite happy with, and trying to sort of remedy them before we good joke there, before we go to record it and release it.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, it's thinking more in broad strokes and how it sounds as a kind of whole thing, and you know, as a kind of big picture rather than focusing on the little minute details. And I do find that it is important to get those little intricate things in there, but we have done this a lot where we've just like focused way too much on like little things.
No, but it's great now where like literally we had a band practice today. We literally just kind of wrote 4 tracks,
Okay.
which is great. It's like, okay, here's the cogs are moving. That's good.
It's nice that we spend more time in a room together, all 4 of us, sort of coming together and writing ideas, as opposed to like, I don't know, Joe and Leo going and writing pretty much a whole song and then showing it to us.
Is that how it normally goes?
There was times that used to happen, but not that I'm angry about that at all. It was perfectly easy for me to just learn a bass line they've written for me, and I'd be quite happy with that.
The next Lennon McCartney.
It's nice to just all 4 of us be together and sort of have that, as Leo said, like those cogs sort of turning together, like we're all having our own sort of influences, but also just enjoying the experience between the 4 of us. You know, it's nice. It is.
Yeah, I think that you can hear that in the songs. They definitely sound fun, you know, like you're enjoying them. Are there any plans for New Year?
We have a new single hopefully out in Feb as well. Yeah, and I'm very, very excited for that one.
And then gigging between then and now, and afterwards, I guess. You're very active as a live band, I feel.
Yeah, we are more recently. We're doing Portsmouth in Feb, and then
Yeah, and then hopefully Fats Tuesday.
yeah, and then also we've got one in Green Door.
Oh, is that with Dread FM?
Yeah, with Dread FM, yeah, so we should have that as well.
And Bones A Alpha, my other bands.
Harry's one of many, obviously. One of countless.
In popular demand.
Yeah, exactly.
No wonder so many bands want to have Harry in them because he's a fucking great drummer.
Yeah, you're too kind, Riley. I mean, it's like...
No, I'm not. I'm not at all, because you fucking actually mad how much I enjoy playing with Paris Blue.
Yeah, thank you. I guess it's like, yeah, really trying to sort of keep, like, with, like, drums, just what I've got now, and I can't do anything more. It's just it. Otherwise, it just gets too overwhelming, I find. And it can be quite difficult to juggle everything, but I think I'm doing all right. And I'm really excited for the new year with all of us, I think.
Yeah.
Like, Remedy's gone down so well, like, for us personally, compared to anything else we've released. And, yeah, it's just, I feel really happy with that, and I can't wait to, you know, try and do better and all that kind of stuff, yeah.
What about influences then? What are your favourite bands?
Block Party. Should we all together just say Block Party in unison?
Yeah, but it's an interesting one because I'll never listen to them, but they still completely... There's so much influence there. The Silent Alarm is just like... I'll get to listen to it now.
Yeah.
Once every couple of months, I'll treat myself.
And it is specifically Silent Alarm Block Party. It's no other Block Party. Just that one album.
I find that, I mean, talking more about kind of electronic influences, and Joe briefly mentioned like how, you know, Remedy came about. Aphex Twin is a massive influence for us, just purely because of just the attention to detail in his music, and just how, I guess, intricate in a way that's really just enjoyable to listen to. And like for me personally, drumming wise, I've been very inspired by that kind of like IDM kind of I believe it's drill and bass kind of sound, and it's just a fantastic kind of like, but crazy chaotic kind of rhythmic kind of electronic thing.
All right. What's the best gig you've ever been to?
Wow.
Well, not with us, just anything. I think what comes to mind, if like this counts, I went to Wide Awake Festival in 21, and like the lineup was just crazy for one day. It was like Shame, Murder Capital, Black Country New Road, Black Midi, Goat Girl, dry cleaning. It was just a really good day, and I think that's probably the best thing I've ever been to.
That's fair. Honestly, it's really hard to. One that comes to mind from this year that was just simply incredible. Me and Joe and Leo and a couple of mates went to it. The Murder Capital in Kentish Town. Crazy, just really good. Like, massive fan of their new album, and it's so, the way they've progressed is just amazing, and they're just incredible live performance. Yeah, it was really good.
Oh, mine has to be not for like the musical influence aspect of it, but just because I can solely put this gig down to the reason that I want to be in a band and want to continue being in bands is Kid Capici at the Printworks. It was Hastings Bonfire Night, 2019, and I was 15, and it was just so insane. Like, I'd never been to any gigs before that, really, and just it was so energetic and like mad. After that, I was like, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to be doing this and sort of having that energy about me. I think it was so fun.
Yeah, I think I've completely forgot about that. That was a really good gig. I think, it's just weird to think about now, where we know a lot of people in the music scene, and back then we didn't know any of them. They were probably all there. I now know everyone that was probably in that room, but now, like back then, I didn't know anyone. You know, we just had our friends. But if I had to say my best gig, the only one that really springs to mind, was with you, Joe. We saw Black Midi at Chalk. And that was really, I think, as a live band.
That's in Brighton, isn't it?
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
That was just cool. You're like, holy shit. I think that's really important about gigs. They've got to be fun.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, like, what's the point otherwise?
I mean, also the hype building up to it is sometimes the most fun.
Yeah.
I always find myself looking forward to like just going to gigs and stuff like that. Like, it's always at the front of my mind. Like, the week beforehand, I'm just like, oh yeah, like, I get to go to this and it's going to be so much fun. And it's like, yeah, that's one of the most fun parts about being in a band or just being around music, is going to gigs and watching people perform, and being part of that energy is incredible, because I really don't think there's much like it.
What about venues around here? Are there any you like the most or have played repeatedly because you want to keep playing there?
Do you mean in Hastings in particular, or just...
Well, anywhere you've played, yeah.
Anywhere we've played. What's our favourite venue? That's a good one.
Despite some faults, the Piper is probably my favourite venue in Hastings.
Yeah. It has its like problem, like sound is never gonna be the best.
Yeah, but the vibes at the Piper are the best.
Yeah, great vibes, absolutely. But like, it's got an okay sound system. The room's a good size. Like, you've got a green room if you want it. Like, there's nothing particularly wrong with it, and I'd definitely say it's probably the best we've got around here for sure. Yeah, but as Leo said, like, the sound is also not the greatest on a bad day, and you know, sometimes it's a bit too big if you can't quite fill it out, or you go to gigs that aren't quite, you know, selling.
One that springs to mind, I went there last night. It was Trago Basement. I really want to do another one in there. It's just stupid.
What did you go to Trago Basement for?
It was just a weird, like, drum and bass thing. It was so weird. There was like 10 people in there. Sorry, we're getting a bit sidetracked. It was really weird. But it was kind of funny as fuck.
They said they had a mixing desk, and we get there and we're like, right, where's the mixing desk, so we could sort out all our sound and stuff. And they put out some DJ decks, and we were like, right, okay. Yeah, it was definitely a botch job that evening, but yeah, you're right. I completely forget we played that gig. It was really, really fun. Just a tiny little underground basement. Brilliant, yeah.
Wasn't it Kevin that like got in there?
Yeah, Kevin. He was really fucked up. It was like, oh my god. Like...
Yeah, it was so funny.
And then what? Should we talk about Brighton? Green Door Store always brings to mind as like my favourite venue ever, probably.
Green Door's great. I thought the Old Blue Last was really nice.
Old Blue Last, yeah. I really liked the Old Blue Last.
That was really good.
Just like a nice size for a band. Like, it, you know, it's not too big, not too small. It was brilliant. It really, really was. Like, if you get good sales on that, on a gig there, you can really like make it a brilliant vibe in that room, which is, I find, sometimes can be surprisingly hard to get, just a good like sort of buzzing vibe in a room.
It depends on the crowd as well.
It does, absolutely. Yeah. But sometimes the room's just shaped awkwardly, I suppose.
Like the brass or something.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Perfect example, yeah. Whereas Old Blue Last is like, it's nice. You can get a really, really energetic sort of vibe and atmosphere in there.
Yeah, rip the brass, Joe was saying.
No, to be fair, like we started, like me, Leo, and Riley. I mean, you played there as well, weren't you? But we used to play in a band when we were like 14, and that was like our first nights we ever did there. It would be a missed opportunity, I think, for them to not keep it as a bar / sort of venue.
Yeah, I know what's happening. Apparently, it's block of flats.
Oh, that's depressing.
Yeah, it's Airbnb. Apparently, that's what I heard.
Oh no.
Sick.
Yeah, it's not great. It's a shame, you know. I was on this panel the other day, talking about like local music and stuff, and with like Hannah, Fat Tuesday, and some other people, and yeah, it's quite a big thing. I think smaller venues are kind of getting harder and harder. I think there's a lot of factors that go into that, like audience, like retention and little things like that, and then also just bigger stuff and like regulation stuff that really should be, like, for example, noise issues and stuff like that. I don't know the actual technical jargon, so I can't give you a good you know what I mean. It's not great, but we're getting there. I think it's better than it used to be.
So what kind of hobbies do you guys have outside of music?
Bouldering.
Bouldering.
I don't know. What do I do? That's really depressing. I like to read.
You've read a lot.
I've read a lot this year.
You've read a lot. Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm at uni as well, so
Cool.
At the moment I'm not doing too much.
So what are you studying?
I study popular music.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I just started. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just have no hobbies, and music is. I think it's just because I spend a lot of time doing other stuff in music as well as Paris Blue. So it sort of just takes it all up, and then you put in like gigs as well, like just everything around it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, a lot of what you do is music related, I think, and it's kind of the same with me. I mean, I don't really have like many hobbies outside of music, but yeah, one that comes to mind definitely is been doing a lot more production work just outside of bands, and that's where I personally, as like myself, like as a career, want to go into, and I really enjoy mixing and engineering and that kind of process, and I feel like it's a lot of fun. I love working with like artists and bands. For example, I've just mixed the Veltman's upcoming EP, but I just really enjoy doing that, and it's crafting music, and realizing how much production goes into creating music. But that's personally what I get up to in my spare time. Maybe like I really like trains and tea.
Oh yeah, I can get behind that. Trains are so good.
Yeah.
Trains are brilliant. This is going to be the least cool thing you've ever heard a musician say. Love the sport cricket.
That's great.
That's what I do with my time. Well, I mean, not the winter. The winter's horrible, but over the summer, I try and play as much as possible for my local village and things like that. And it's a brilliant sport. No sport could last for 5 days, 5 whole days, and end in a draw. It's fantastic. It really is.
I think music is the main thing. I think it is so important, but obviously I do other stuff. So I do photography quite a lot, but that's sort of I'm trying to make that a sort of main income at the moment. I think there's a lot of things that I try to tie to the band that I find quite interesting and fun. I like tea and coffee. Coffee's good. I like coffee.
What about trains?
Trains are fine. They're okay. I'm not a particular train fan. Trains are, I'm sort of impartial. So yeah, I know that's a you thing. I'm not a trains guy. I'm sorry.
Every so often, like, we'll be having a conversation in our band group chat and stuff, and then Harry will send something on the chat about trains, and then me and Harry, just us two, will be talking about trains, while Joe and Leo are talking about something completely different, or talking about music or something like that. Again, like, definitely not the coolest thing a musician has ever said. Harry, you found that game? You had to like name all the tube stations in London.
Yeah, where you'd have to guess all of the tube stops. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. This is what we get up to in our spare time.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's riveting.
So we list tube stations is what we do. Yeah.
You mentioned about production.
Yeah.
So how do you guys get your stuff produced? Is that a DIY thing, or do you find someone else to come and help?
All of our processes have been with Kevin Van Bergen from.
Absolute legend.
I don't know where he
Top
is.
man.
He lives in Hastings, isn't he? Yeah, and he works in Savage Sound, and he's just a fantastic, really well experienced producer. And we send him like demos that we've created, practicing them and through Logic, and he he gives us really good pointers. And while we're in the studio with him, rearrange certain things. For example, Remedy, the bridge, I believe, isn't it? Or that was completely reworked, and some of Leo's vocal, and he's fantastic. He's really lovely, and it's just so easy to get on with, so Kevin. We love Kevin.
Yeah, I love Kevin.
We all love Kevin.
We love Kevin.
Shout out Kevin.
Just one more then. What is your favourite song to play live?
Oh, wow. Do you want to start, Joe?
It's tough. There's basically two that I feel like everyone here is going to say. So I'm going to say Don't Show My Friends just because we played it. So it's the song we close on and have closed on literally every gig, I think, since our first gig back in 21.
Yeah, it was October the 1st, 21. Yeah, I've got the poster in my room.
There you go. Yeah. So it's changed so much and it's developed, but it's always just sort of stuck around and it's always so much fun to end the set with.
It's definitely got the highest energy,
Yeah.
which can come across a bit jarring, I suppose, considering how much we've chilled out as a band. We've sort of leveled off a little bit, but it's always consistently the most fun to play, and it always gets a really good reception as well. And it's such a high to end on. Like, I don't know, I always find myself feeling so good after playing that song. It just makes me happy.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of my favourites. Like the way it just the how much it's evolved. I think it's one that's evolved the most out of all of our songs because it's stayed in the set the entire time. And it started off as this very quite heavy track with like a really big ending. And it still has like a big ending, but now it's a lot more spaced out. It's a lot more, again, an electronic influence thanks to Joe's like SP404, and it's like just. It's come a long way, and I think that's a lot of fun to play. For me, like, it's really difficult to sort of to think about. I think if I had to pick, I mean, it would probably have to, it'd probably be Don't Show My Friends. Yeah, I can't think of any others. Yeah, that is just so fun to play.
Say it like you mean it. Is that the working title or is that the actual? That's the actual title. I like that. It's a very.
It's my t-shirt. I've got
Oh no way!
wearing Slater Kinney t-shirt. Their new song.
Yeah, that's fun for me because it's such.
I bet that's good. Yeah.
The bass line's really cool. I have to say, Leo wrote it. It's very, very cool and it's fun to play. And there's like loads of little scratches and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't know if original's the right word, but it's something that I personally would never have thought of playing. It's very creative in that way, and it's a fun little song to play.
Yeah, I think for me, Don't Show makes a lot of sense. I don't play guitar for that song now, so that's good fun. And like the Delaware, I got to that was good. I had a security guard hold my cable up. I think everyone needs to experience that in their life. But yeah, I mean that's good. But to be honest, my favorite track is our next single. Honestly, I just love playing. I like it because it's good fun.
Okay, well that's it then. Yeah, thank you all.
Brilliant.
So you can find Paris Blue on all good streaming services at Paris Blue, or Instagram at Paris Blue, and make sure to stream the new song Honestly from the 2nd of February.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
No worries.
Thank you.
I said thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I wanna have my